Oh boy, okay. So, Leif and Seliph. As we can see, there's not that many people that care. But maybe we're just being smart. So, let's actually talk about the banner and Leif and potentially some good uses for it. If nothing else, I'll educate you on how to make good decisions for seasonals of this nature. So, let's do it.
Let the lesson begin.
What's up guys, Akariss here, bringing you another Fire Emblem Heroes video. Okay, so this video is another should you pull, are you going to pull type of video where I collected data from my communities and basically I'm going to analyze the most important unit of this batch. I'm not going to cover all the units because honestly, like, you know, Lewin is not really worth talking about. Julia is not that amazing. Generally speaking, I'm glad that seasonal banners in general are just kind of like your favorites and summoning for your favorites type of banners. So it really does help out those that save for those particular characters that they have an attachment to, which is totally cool. However, at the end of the day, it is gambling because there's no guarantee to this. I genuinely hope that in the future we get some sort of like spark system on legendaries and seasonals, because it is kind of needed. It's kind of ridiculous how this will play out, how these kind of banners can really crush the dreams of some people because it's just gacha. So yeah, just so you guys know, gonna give you my opinion on this, give you guys some uses for the most important unit of this batch, which is going to be Leif. And I did cover them as an impression and reactions, the other ones in a video a couple of days ago, so you can always just check out the channel and see that. Anyways, without further ado, before we begin, smash the like button, it does help really, and sub if you haven't already. Still about 40-50% of you are not sub, so do that. And yeah, let's talk about Leif and the banner. So first of all, a general should you pull before we jump into it later in the video is no, you shouldn't pull on seasonals, and in general you shouldn't pull on seasonals. That's just a good statement to have. They're easy skips in most cases, because again, you don't have a guarantee, there's no spark system, you can't summon 40 and guarantee anything. And if I literally show you the statistics behind this, you could be surprised how badly this could end up being. So for example, this is the data behind trying to summon for a colorless specific focus unit, and it can get pretty bad. Alright, so if you don't understand like how this chart, you know, makes sense, or it doesn't know how to play it, I'll try to kind of explain it as simple as I can. 25% basically means that 1 in 4 people get Leif in 55 orbs. 1 in 2 people at 50% get them in 118 orbs. And then again, another 1 in 4 people spend about 219 orbs to get Leif. So you see there's a pretty big gap there. You could end up on any side of the spectrum. The disaster scenarios where you're really trying to like gamble or push your luck because of sunken cost fallacies, or just trying to gamble, it can get pretty bad. And I've been on the bad side of the spectrum, so at 90%, meaning 1 in 10 people spend 351 orbs, and 99% is pretty bad, where you have 1 in 100 people spending 685 orbs. You can't assume that you will get, you can't like think results oriented, you can't think that you're going to get lucky every time, because eventually you will get the bad side of these sort of outcomes, and it can genuinely make you quit the game because it like screwed up everything for you. Keep in mind that if you play F2P, you're getting about 300 orbs or so a month, completely F2P orbs, if you don't summon on anything besides the free summons and you're diligent about saving and playing through the events. So it can hurt really bad when you try to commit to one of these banners and get screwed. And so I'm pretty happy to see that most people are skipping, or in general have kind of like, you know, kind of realize that a lot of legendary mythic banners and seasonal banners should be looked at more closely on whether they're worth committing to. And yeah, that stays true even to this day. So let's talk about other things, shall we? Starting with Leif and what he brings to the table. Because is it worth chasing Leif? Maybe in the future for a double seasonal, it could very well be the case. So Harmonized Leif here is basically like Legendary Leif without the Brave effect. He's got a Miracle built in, he's got Canto. The Miracle is conditional on just basically player phasing. It's pretty reasonable of a condition. It's gonna see a lot of it's going to see a lot of use. I'd say that he's probably one of the better dual or harmonized units, both on AR offense and AR defense, and of course we'll cover that. His stat spread is faster in nature, like he's not like the slow one that Legendary Leif is with using the Brave effect, so he actually will get his doubles, but he is fairly hard countered by stuff like Worry Fighter, or just denying his doubles, and that kind of sucks. Or the enemies being able to double him back and just kill him that way. For example, like Bonfire. Vector will likely just proc his miracle and then just hit him from that auto double that Vector has, and Leif doesn't really have an answer to that because he can't run any sort of impact effect or worry or like no follow up to deny him. So that kind of sucks, but generally speaking, he will be pretty good against a lot of other things. The Canto and the Gale Force effect really help. And of course, any unit that can do more than one action in a turn, especially independently, is going to be really good, especially if you combine that with high mobility. So yeah, I can definitely see him being very good. I don't necessarily think he is a must pull, but it's important to watch him over the months to come because, you know, we still have terrifying duos like Dual Leif just kind of running around. So Leif himself could actually age pretty well depending on how the meta plays out. Now, his base kit is also pretty good. It doesn't really require much change. He comes with S-Drink and Pulse Smoke and literally the best A skill probably that you can use for AR offense. So he's like, at least he doesn't require much further investment besides the initial copy, which is nice. But yeah, again, that doesn't really matter when you have to spend potentially hundreds of orbs chasing him. So gotta always keep that in mind. Yeah, so let's move on to some build recommendations that I could show you guys, which would start with these guys. So hopefully you guys like this new format. I'm gonna continue doing this in future vids just to make things easier visually on you to follow. Yeah, okay, so best way is definitely AR focused. I don't see much use in Arena. He's going to be good in PvE, but we're not going to focus on PvE because you can really get by with a lot of things there. So for AR offense, you don't really need to reinvent the wheel. A standard build literally throws reposition heavy blade on him and you're gonna do really well. It also helps if you do land a attack minus HP IV, because depending on how many mythics you have, or potentially throw something like Fury 4 or Fury 3 on him with his extra actions, potentially a dance, he can actually set up Wings of Mercy plays as well, similar to like an unmerged minus HP Linja or Air or Uller. So that strategy definitely can work, although I haven't shown it here. But yeah, it depends if you want to spend the Trade Fruits or you end up with that. He's definitely a solid enabler or initiator that cannot be ignored. I don't really know how he'll play into Far Save. I don't think he'll do that well because, again, he's not Brave damage. Like, he's not a Brave Bow. He's not like Linja, and that does unfortunately kind of suck. A single hit is not going to really kill a lot of the Far Save units. But if you don't run into Far Save, then he's going to be great because of his mobility and just flexibility in general with team comps. For a more optimized build, I do think a Heavy Blade 4, Lull Attack, Defense B with Blade Session and the Seal is going to be pretty good. This is basically the Legendary Leif variant here. He has the attack stat, he's going to want the lull to really win those checks and do additional damage, plus because he benefits from speed, Blade Session does really well. So that's more of an optimized type of investment. It's not that much better than the standard build, but it's definitely a solid consideration. Finally, on defense, it's really flexible how you do want to play him on defense, if you ask me. You can really run stuff like Deadeye. You can honestly just keep the catch skill if you want to in the A skill. You can run a little attack if you want to just kind of like make him slightly bulkier. You can run QP S-Drink and pre-charge his special with something like Deadeye or the Zeal skill. So there's really a lot of ways to do it on air defense, and it just kind of depends what your teammates are or what kind of role you want him to do. But I definitely think on defense he will be a solid unit to run if you're not really running like the duels or the Harmonized Heroes, which you should on like a dual hindrance enabler. Honestly, again, I did cover duos in the past, but to kind of put it briefly, if I was to rank the best dual hindrance enablers on defense, it would be the Dancers at first place without a doubt, because they don't need merges or high investment. So that'd be stuff like Sigurd, Peony, and Dorothea. And then when you consider the combat mythics, or sorry, combat duels, then I think Leif might actually be first place now, or competing very heavily with Dual Leif. And then you basically have Mia, who's kind of just lagging behind. She's not as good. Despite having damage reduction, she basically auto loses to quick riposte and has no way to deny enemy doubles, which really sucks because QR and auto doubles do kind of screw things up. But yeah, that's basically how I feel about the dual hindrance enablers right now on defense. So Leif definitely can take the crown there, haha, so to speak. But yeah, that's really it for Leif. I honestly think he's a skip, and just wait until the double seasonal and see how he impacts the meta, and you probably might want to consider him at that point, depending on who he shares with. Or we just see around New Year what sort of new duo potentially ends up being a spark during the Christmas banner. So yeah, let me share what you guys think and what my community on Patreon thinks as well. So that's the next step here. So yeah, I do thank you guys for engaging in the polls. It really helps to both not only create this sort of information for the videos, but I'm sure it also helps others formulate a more solid opinion on whether they, you know, commit to these banners. If you haven't already, and I really hope you haven't, at least I try to, you know, publish this as fast as I can, but there's so much content sometimes to cover or just produce that hopefully I'm able to help a lot of you guys make more informed decisions. Anyways, so between my Patreon poll, which is below me here, and comments by my Patreon and Discord community, thank you guys for participating. The polls are very similar. As you can see, not many people are committing to this. Maybe they want a single copy of Leif. Maybe they just want to you know, get Lewin or a favorite or something that makes complete sense, and everyone else is free summoning and skipping, including myself. That's basically the mentality that I think most people should have for seasonals, if you ask me, so I hope to continue seeing this. But yeah, anyways, let's go through some comments and get the full picture here. So comment by Neff here says, free summon, this banner is underwhelming. The only units that might be worth pulling for are Larcy and Harmonic Leif. Larcy is another axe infantry, and even though she has most likely higher BST and a preference weapon, she is not worth using my orbs. I don't have after Legendary Micaiah. Leif is a harmonic unit, meaning he doesn't have the dual effect for arena to score high, and in AR everyone has dual hindrance. So the harmonic effect cannot activate there. Yeah, which is basically why I didn't cover it in the video, to be honest, because like I can't really consider harmonic effects or dual skills to be relevant, because they're not, except for arena and PvE content. You cannot expect to run into AR gameplay and use it consistently. The only exception is basically Linja, who tries to snipe enemy dual heroes, and that's because she has really good power. But essentially, I can't really expect that here with Leif. Maybe you could pull that off. It may be a similar effect, but it's not good enough to talk about. Like, it's not a self dance or something. If it was, then yeah. Anyways, so Kanto and his miracle effect on his weapon are interesting, but I'm not sure if that's enough to get me hooked, and as of now, he doesn't interest me much, which is great. Like that, I completely agree. I think waiting is a very smart move here. Tarek says, I do have 151 orbs at the moment, and I want to snipe one Leif copy. Not planning to use more than 100 orbs. So if you guys remember from the beginning of the video, I did give you the statistics on that, and it is obstructed, so let me fix that. But yeah, this does mean that Tarek is trying to gamble a 1 in 2 chance, or less than 1 in 2 chance to get Leif. So that's okay, as long as you set yourself a hard limit and know what your like expectation is. So if you go in with these banners with that sort of mindset, they're going to say, hey, I'm just going to spend this amount of orbs and not expect anything, no results, then you're not going to be massively disappointed. Yeah, it'll hurt because you wasted some resources, but generally speaking, setting a hard cap like that is a very solid strategy, and thank you, Tarek, for sharing that. Again, waiting could also be a very good option. That's what I think I would recommend to most people. But anyways, Zeno here says, just free summon, this banner honestly looks boring, plus having never played FE4 and 5, I have no attachment to any of these characters. Even if I did, I would wait for a double special banner where they return to avoid seasonal hell. So yeah, double special banners have been pretty good for the most part. Like, we've had some pretty solid shares. For example, Dorothea and Dual Lift was a really good share, even deserved its own video. And I believe we had NY Peony with Winter Bernadetta sharing, which is also really good. So we definitely have some really good value with double special banners, and you know what your pity break is. That's always a really good thing. So even if you spend hundreds of orbs, at least you know who the unit is sharing with, and they will likely be the the pity break, so to speak. So you always are conditioned to know kind of what your fallback outcome is. Of course, if it shares with something non-desirable, it kind of sucks, but generally speaking, being patient about it and committing to a double special is, in my opinion, the better play than trying to go for the debut banner impulsively. So yeah, guys, that basically covers my thoughts here on the should you pull and what you guys are planning to do. Thank you again for participating. If you want to also do this and add your comments potentially in future videos, consider supporting on Patreon, which is in the description below, and then joining the Discord and adding your comments there potentially as well. Thank you guys, as always. Much love. I've really enjoyed producing some of the content lately, and hopefully you guys are as well. If there's any feedback, again, or your thoughts, let me know in the comments below. Smash that like button, sub if you haven't already. See you guys in the next one. Much love. Peace.
It's over.